Hello, everyone. Week 12 defense on. Let me check
Week
this.
13.
Week 13 defense. Week 13 defense. We're not cutting that out. We're keeping that in because we're men, and like in Braveheart, you got to fight through it, good or bad. Even if people are cutting off your genitalia, you gotta
Holy shit.
you gotta fight through it. So, Broncos are your cash game defense of the week. 5K against the Jaguars. What are you looking at?
This one was pretty similar to you. Basically, you got a turnover prone Blake Bortles. It's at home, but this is a team that averages 2 turnovers per game. Second lowest total on the week. And obviously, with their run game and the state that it is, there's no real potential for them to really attack what's the weakest part of this Denver Broncos defense, which has been against the run this year. So, a lot of good corners to kind of match up against Lee, Hearns, and Robinson, who have been really hit or miss this season. And 5K, reasonable price. I know people are going to want to look to pay down, but Denver is pretty much one of the safest options this week. And obviously have been that way this season. Second most fantasy points per game.
Yeah, and again, it's really just, I know the Broncos haven't been great against the run, but it's really just you look at this Broncos secondary and you look at Blake Bortles, he's like, picking his nose, and you just say, I wonder who's going to win this matchup. And, not normally the guy who's picking his nose wins the matchup. I don't think there are many famous like nose pickers out there. Like other than Jim Harbaugh, there aren't any like outwardly like, oh yeah, I pick my nose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, not many in history. I'm sure there are a few looking back. Kind of like, your sign. Like some people are Scorpios. Like some people are nose pickers,
It's true.
And you and the camera right there. I see you watching.
I'm waiting
Not
for
you,
the
not you. Talking to the viewers. Johnny and Philip. I see you guys out there. Don't lie to me. Next one here, Patriots and Rams, 4,600. Patriots, against rookie quarterbacks, it's just going to be sad times for Jared Goff. Is that what you're seeing here?
Yeah, this is probably going to be a pretty brutal game. 4,600. I mean, this gives you a couple $100 discount from Denver. Rams have the lowest total of Week 13. New Orleans did allow a couple touchdowns to obviously Jared Goff, who made some good throws, but this is just a different situation here with Belichick and this defense that has been improving over the last few weeks or so. They weren't that great at the beginning of the year, but I was kind of surprised when I saw they're allowing just 17.9 points per game this season. Which is third in the league. So, I mean, a fairly good defense, 4.7 yards per play allowed. They've been a good rush defense. Obviously, Todd Gurley really hasn't been a focal point of the offense in terms of really kind of, they rely on him. It's been, a case a couple of times where they get behind and they got to start throwing the ball, which I can see this week. And also, I mean, I saw a stat, I think, earlier today. I forgot who threw it out, but Bill Belichick has outscored Jeff Fisher by about 90 over the last 2 outings. So
if that doesn't say it all, yeah. And, Belichick obviously prolific against rookie quarterbacks. So yeah, that's a great matchup for the Patriots defense for sure. GPP defenses, Seahawks versus the Panthers. What's your take here? Because I don't really have a strong one on either side, the Panthers offense or the Seahawks defense.
Seahawks defense, I mean, obviously Seattle had an awful game against Tampa. They still managed to score 7 FanDuel points. I mean, the defense was, it kept them in it for the most part. Obviously, they didn't have really any answer for Mike Evans. But you look at Seattle, I mean, 4th in sacks this year, allowing 17 points per game. Cam Newton, I mean, we saw him. He's been careless with the ball. I think we saw that especially this past week. I mean, we saw that throw right to Khalil Mack and in the inside the end zone. So, there is that upside for Seattle to capitalize on a bad Cam Newton turnover or multiple, because I mean they rank in the bottom 5 in turnovers. They're expensive. They're more just a swerve off of Denver. I think there is some upside here. Not a strong total for Carolina, 18.75 this week. Obviously, traveling on the road again to Seattle, tough place to play. And I just don't like what they're doing with their wideouts or with Greg Olsen. I just feel like everyone's trend downwards.
You're careless with the ball. How does
I
that
am,
feel?
certainly.
You're really throwing daggers at Cam Newton, and I don't think he appreciates it, you know?
What's he going to do about it?
Nothing. Nothing. I do think it's interesting how the roster composition of that offense has looked. Devin Funchess, he's okay. Ted Ginn, he's okay. Kelvin Benjamin, on pace for, 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns, but it doesn't seem like they have the same, same thing working they did last year for some reason. So yeah, I agree. Is Earl Thomas's health a big decider for you in this, or either way with him in or out?
In or out, I'm just looking at it. I think it's fine either way.
Fair enough. Cardinals 4,400 against the Redskins. What are you looking at in this matchup?
I like the price. I mean, 4,400. We talked a little bit about the Cardinals yesterday. This is a team with pretty severe home road splits in terms of defense. I mean, 12.7 points allowed at home this year compared to 30 on the road. They're allowing 213 passing yards per game, which is the second fewest in the NFL. Obviously, that plays big against a Washington team that does like to throw the ball. And I know Rob Kelly obviously blew up against Green Bay and then kind of struggled a little bit against Dallas. And this is a good rush defense, good front seven. Obviously, Patrick Peterson's going to take away, guys like Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, Mathieu. Those guys are going to be, involved. I don't rank that core is very good in comparison to what the Arizona secondary is.
What do they say about the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree? Is that what they say?
It's something
I
said.
feel like
Where
the
are you going
apple
with it?
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Is that what it is?
Sure. Where are you
Yeah.
going with this?
I don't know. It popped into my head when you were talking. Something made me think of that saying. So you know, you know what that means. Time to load up on Pierre Garçon. I think that's what that means.
Sure. I mean, especially if Jordan Reed's out. I mean, that's a big loss on that offense. I mean,
I'm
we're
kidding.
going to get
Yeah,
Vernon Davis.
I do like this play. At only 4,400, I think that's a really fair move to make. With Kirk Cousins and sort of his inefficiency overall in the red zone and generally speaking against good defenses. So yeah, I like that. Do you like that? Oh boy.
I'll tell you.
Ravens 4,600 against the Dolphins. Yay, nay. Simeon Rice. You remember Simeon Rice?
Yeah, I do.
It's kind of like pork fried rice, except it's a football player instead.
Yeah, fairly close. Yeah, sure. I'm sure you ate a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, I do like Baltimore this week.
yeah,
Yay, 4,600. I
yeah.
mean, we mentioned this on your pod. I mean, they don't get priced like they do. I mean, they really should be a defense that's 4,800 plus. They have the second highest cafe value on FanDuel this week. Look at the Dolphins team total. It's bottom 5. They were missing 3 offensive linemen last week. That really showed against the 49ers, obviously the worst rushing defense in the league. Then they go and Jay is going to face the best, that the league has to offer right now in terms of a rush defense. So not a big fan of the secondary in terms of Baltimore. Curious to see if Jimmy Smith comes back. He was doubtful last week, didn't play. But still, I think there are a couple of weapons. That's kind of why I have them below New England in terms of a cash defense, but they are borderline for me. I think there are a few weapons that Dolphins could pop up and maybe surprise, in a couple plays. But overall, Baltimore's been one of the solidified top defenses in the league this season. In terms of fantasy production, they've been very solid and consistent. So I don't mind them in cash games, but I think GPPs they're fairly solid as well.
I have a fun idea. All right. Something you said just made me think of Joakim Noah. What was it?
I have no idea. I don't even remember what I just said, to be honest.
Okay. Hold on. Who's their center?
Who's center?
Dolphin center.
You
Mike
know, between
Pouncey.
the
Mike
genitalia cutting
Pouncey.
off.
Mike
Yes.
Pouncey went to Florida,
Okay.
as did Joakim
Joakim
Noah.
Noah. Yes. Yes.
There it is. How
That's
about
it.
that? Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God. Wrap up this damn show.
Okay. If you like what we're doing, as always, give us a like and subscribe. If you don't like what we're doing, give us a negative comment in the comment section there and make fun of me. No one's made fun of me yet. I'm kind of upset about that.
I'm surprised.
Or comment about how you like Boardwalk Empire. You can talk about movies. I've been watching a lot of movies lately. You can check out my ratings at critiker.com. Arclight636, giving myself a little bump there. You know what I'm saying?
I learned a lot about you, Russ, and I think I learned a little bit more. When it's 3, 4 in the afternoon, and I'm just wondering where you're at or what you're doing, and we're about to do pods, and I realize that you're probably watching a movie in instead of writing your article or writing your whatever you got going on or publishing these.
No,
You're critiquing movies. I think that's what it is.
I actually, you just got this shown to me last week. It's actually a super awesome website. But as always, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.